Christian and her studio use industrial design to solve a very old problem: the dark.
One thing that I always love is when you walk in and you don't even realize it's lit. And to me, that is really cool. It's just something that we encounter on a daily basis, but we're oftentimes unaware that we are engaged with light. For example, you go into a grocery store and you see that the vegetables look very vibrant, or the meat look very red, or the seafood looks very fresh. And that is because of light.
There's more to light than on and off. Light contains qualities and characteristics that make it unique. There's the intensity of the light, how much light the source gives off. That's measured in lumens. There's color temperature, how cool or warm the light appears. That's measured in Kelvin. The flame of a candle is 1500 Kelvin. A warm white bulb is 2300. Daylight is 5600 Kelvin. And that deep blue sky, just after the sun has set, is around 7000. Light is not created equal. Christian Lowe and the team at Anony design lighting. They have to design not just with all of those qualities of light in mind, but with the quality of the object, its form, materials, and manufacturing. So how do they design a light that's modern, but not chasing a trend? Something that balances all of these things while remaining timeless? Let's find out. This is CBC On Design.
Sometimes when we sit in our design circles and we think okay, how are we going to design this next light? I think it's really easy to design for people's bad shopping habits. But for us, we spend so much time and it's so much harder to design something that's timeless. So light can be very technical and it can be very complicated. I like to break it down in 3 categories. One is functional lighting. Those are things like pots, tracks. They're very focused and direct light. And then you have ambient lighting, which is wall grazers, under cabinet lighting. And the sole purpose of that is to set a mood. And then you have your feature pieces, which is the decorative pieces. And those things are always sculptural and expressive as shapes. So a room can have multiple scenes. It can have the functional, it can have the ambient, and then it can have the decorative.
Within these scenes, as Christian describes them, light exhibits other properties. There's direct light, in which the light travels in a straight path from its source to illuminate a specific area or object. Bounced light, where light reflects off of a surface before reaching its destination. And diffused light, where light passes through materials like filters, frosted glass, or even a familiar form, like a lampshade, creating a softer, more scattered glow.
When we're designing these lights, we're thinking about the entire process. We're thinking about, the entire form. For me, I like to start off looking at details, especially details in mass-produced products. It could be a rib on a pipe, or the way a pipe has been machined, or seeing a metal being used or casted in a way that I haven't seen before. Because I know a lot of designers, we start from conceptualizing something, and sometimes we get a little bit brokenhearted because we know that, we end up in a place where it can't be made. For the Pola, we actually started on looking at architecture. We really liked the way tunnels were lit. We kind of took that form and made it smaller. But we start from a lot of sketches, and sketches is, it can go on forever. Then we move on to paper prototyping. It's just an easy way to make changes and to really feel the proportions. And then we go to 3D printing. After we're happy with the way it feels and the scale, and if it, holds the LEDs the way we want it, and if it kind of diffuses the way we want it, then we go into our first metal prototype, which this one is here. I think that's the hardest part, is when you know something can be made, you just don't know yet on how it's going to be made. We did think about it as a rolled steel at first, but after, quickly talking to the manufacturers and seeing how hard that process was, we quickly went over to extrusions because the tolerance sink and the variability is a lot less. When I studied industrial design, I was obsessed with how it's made videos. I love those videos. I still love those videos. It was fascinating to see how things were manufactured and finished, and you would never even connect those steps to the end product.
Christian places local manufacturing at the front of her ideation process, embracing the capabilities of the manufacturer to guide the shapes and forms that she creates. And to honor her love of an iconic show, let's learn about aluminum extrusion as a manufacturing process that she utilizes in her latest design, the Pola. Aluminum extrusion is a lot like piping icing through a nozzle. First, you prepare an extrusion die unique to the shape you wish to create. Next, a solid cylindrical block of aluminum alloy, called a billet, is cut down to size and superheated in an oven at 400 to 500 degrees Celsius to make the material malleable enough to push through the die. As the aluminum emerges, it now takes on the unique shape you're trying to create, but at a length of around 100 feet. The newly extruded material will sit on a run-out table to cool before being stretched into alignment and carefully measured for consistency. If everything looks good, the aluminum is cut down to its final size and ready to be coated, treated, or painted, before heading over to the Anony studio for assembly. Back at the Anony studio, the transformers and junction boxes are added. The LEDs are set in place, and the CNC'd or computer machined end caps are fitted to seal in the light. All of these pieces elegantly come together thanks to the precision and magic of aluminum extrusion.
So we always try to use as little manufacturing as possible. And the Pola is made out of two things: aluminum extrusion, which we do here locally, and the end caps, which are CNC'd. So that's 2 steps. That's it. Another thing that we think about is how do we combine materials without adhesives when possible? We do that by faceting, twist and locking, press fitting, magnets. There's so many ways to do it where you don't have to fuse something together, and that helps you replace a part, recycle it, even repair something. And so we're thinking about it from the long run, not the lifespan of just the LED. So
why is this important to the ethos of Christian's designs? And how does her understanding of manufacturing inform this repair-first approach?
Like planned obsolescence is designing with the end date in mind, versus what we do is the exact opposite. We are designing something that's timeless. Manufacturing and technological advancements, it has given companies the ability to create lots of products inexpensively and quickly. And so you see all of these products that are designed for the sole purpose to ride a trend. And a lot of the times it's an old idea in bright new colors. It's way, way harder to design something that's well thought out and something that will last forever.
Designing with minimal glue and a lifespan that extends beyond that of the LEDs is at the heart of Christian's manufacturing philosophy. But what about the non-technical element of the light? What about its form and function? What about how you use it?
I like to think about the fun things too that's not technical, like the tactile things. It's kind of like, those traditional lamps where it has like that ball and chain where you turn it on and off. Like that experience is really unique to a time. And I loved like playing with that ball and chain and like hearing the clicking noises and the way it felt. Interaction gives us an opportunity to delight people. Our wisp, especially, is full of surprises. Floor lamps emit light, and you kind of expect that. Our lampshade does the exact opposite. It diffuses and reflects light. I guess it's about bringing focus to the details of the light. I think it's really obvious that we like minimalism, and you could see that in terms of the minimal manufacturing that we use, you could see that. But I do dislike using that term, especially now because we are in a phase where everything is about maximalism. And I think the reason why I hesitate to use that, because these trends are often pitted against each other. Why I like minimalism is because of the clean lines and color palettes. When you narrow it down to, the bare function, it's really just an acknowledgement of what matters in the form. And it's when the designer understood the object and its purpose. And I think we try to use that in our objects, in our lighting. There's so many things that users don't see. They just see the end result, the shiny, bright new light. And for us, it's everything else.
Whether it's focusing on the fun of using it, the tactility of the materials, or minimal glue for lasting durability, Christian's approach to lighting design is rooted in the idea that minimalism in design is minimalism in manufacturing. Be it ambient, functional, decorative, direct, or diffused, she designs her work to look beyond trends, creating lights built to stand the test of time.